I, James Hines,
do solemnly swear
swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Brookshire Chief of Police
Brookshire Chief of Police
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will do to the best of my abilities
and will do to the best of my abilities
preserve, protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of the State of Texas.
and of the State of Texas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Miss Melina. She's been so excited about this. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas, please repeat after me. I, Erica Melina,
I, Erica Molina,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Brookshire City Secretary
of Brookshire City Secretary
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my abilities,
and will to the best of my abilities
preserve, protect,
preserve, protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of the State of Texas.
and of the State of Texas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yes, sir. All right. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas, please repeat after me. I, Michael Deutsch,
I, Michael Deutsch,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the
of
office
Brookshire Lieutenant
of Brookshire
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my abilities,
and will, to the best of my abilities,
preserve, protect,
preserve, protect,
and defend the Constitution
defend, and the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the State of Texas.
and the State of Texas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Oh, they look sharp, man.
You were up, sir. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Michael Drake.
I, Matthew Drake,
Oh, Matthew Drake, sorry. Gotta get it right. I, Matthew Drake. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Brookshire Detective
of Brookshire Detective
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my abilities,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect,
preserve, protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the State of Texas.
and the State of Texas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations to all of the new. Look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna sign these. You have to sign the front.
All of y'all that would like to go to the lobby and have some cake and whatever, y'all may do so now while we go ahead and finish the rest of the meeting. If you want to stay, that's up to you.
Who's bringing us?
Nice meeting you.
Is this black or is this pink?
Right.
Okay.
Be gone by the time we get out there.
You want us now.
I was gonna put in there, and will be nice to my husband and patient with him.
Who's the fella in the?
He said he'd give me $20.
I met his dad and his mom whenever I was walking in, and that was his kids with him. His littlest daughter was so cute. She's got little cowgirl boots on.
I didn't recognize. Somebody I didn't recognize.
So,
Captain Miller. I know. Huh?
Why didn't they swear him in here?
This just makes everybody official. We can redo them if we want to.
because hey, baby, we have
I actually,
Executive session, so I don't
I
know.
said it under my breath, so she
Yeah,
has to be.
Whatever. I want that $20 back.
Yeah, that's fine. Just text me. Baby, did you see Jonathan?
Right. All right, Miss Medina, you are official.
Thank you so much.
How you doing, sir? How are you?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me out.
Absolutely.
Been a long time. You all right? Yes, sir.
Mayor, appreciate y'all having me out.
Commissioner, always a pleasure.
All right, sir. You have a good night.
Good to see you again.
No, she's talking.
Thank you for coming.
It was a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you. Yes, sir.
Oh, thanks, sir. He's good.
His tie was way up in his brother's shoe. There's a lot of cops in this place, I'll tell you.
It ain't gonna be no more. 'Cause that's what I say all the time. And Branch don't have his. I said all the nines leaving and you
Oh,
don't have
Foley,
yours.
nice to meet you.
What I tell you all the time. Your gun, Branch, your gun.
I don't have a gun.
You lying. You lying.
What you talking
You was lying.
Self-defense is not to talk about your self-defense.
With the little kid over there.
First rule of Fight Club is there is no fight club.
Exactly. Shoot to kill. Just know that. But I ain't got one.
Neither of us. You don't have one?
No, I do have one. That's what I'm saying. I said all of them. I was telling her all of the lines leaving, and I didn't bring mine.
Oh,
But Branch should have his on at all times, regardless.
You.
You should have it on at all times.
I'll think about it.
No, we done talked about this before.
All right, we're ready if you are there.
Are you gonna close the door? Reggie.
Hey, Reggie. Reggie, can you close the door, please?
You can go out too.
You're welcome to come back in, but also it'll be a little loud.
You're welcome to stay over there.
All right.
Okay, let's go back to the agenda. Number 6,
5.
5, okay, because I skipped it. Public comments, real short and sweet. We have no one signed in tonight. Next agenda, consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and are generally enacted in one motion, except to the rule occurs when a council member or requests one or more items removed from the consent agenda or separate discussion and action. The first one we have is 8. Minutes from September the 21st, 2023, regular council meeting.
Just make one.
Guess you can just ask if anybody wants anything removed.
Yeah.
B is minutes from September 26th, 2023, special council meeting. And C, minutes from September the 28th, 2023, special council meeting. All in.
There's two more.
On the next page.
Inconvenient spacing.
D, code enforcement to date, and municipal court report forms.
I don't need it pulled out. I just wanted to clarify from the September 21st meeting minutes, the substandard properties were supposed to be on tonight's for a public hearing. Did they all reach resolution prior to today?
And we're pushing it to the 2nd.
Okay,
But we have had 3 that have reached resolution.
perfect. Okay, just wanted to clarify,
Sure.
since that one listed a date.
Anyone else?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay. Agenda item number 7, new business. A, discuss and consider. Oh, the door.
They're trying to find the door. You're good, right here.
Discuss and consider quotes for radar equipment for the police department. B, discuss and consider quotes.
Do it each individually? Sorry.
Okay. A.
Just, can I ask something? I know that we have a bunch of these coming up. Would it be possible, because we don't give us all the quotes that we get, just your recommendation, it looks like. Would it be possible on these packets to get like a summary report over the top that lists all the quotes with the basic pertinent facts in it, just so we can kind of see? Because somebody asked me, how many quotes did we get for the radar? I don't know, but I would like to know, just so I can be transparent when I talk with people.
Well, and a lot of times
Is
when
there-
it comes to police department equipment, a lot of these companies are proprietary. So there's not
going to be
you know,
multiple.
one specific company that does one specific.
Absolutely, and that's fine too. I just, if there was some sort of indication at the top of each of these things that, hey, this is, we only got the one quote because they're proprietary, that'd be great, you know? Okay,
And in this case, this was the only one.
okay.
I am going to make, an adjustment on this one. For item A and for item C, I had a meeting with, our ARPA representative, and we have $277,000 that are outstanding that we have not spent yet, left in our ARPA money. And so we have some significant software and equipment, issues that we need addressed in PD that we can use the ARPA money for. So we had already put this on the agenda before I had confirmation from ARPA, from, you know, federal reserves for that. So we have been approved for A and C to be funded through ARPA funds. So in the motion, we just need to make an amendment to the motion to say that, if you so choose to approve these items to be paid for with ARPA funds.
Perfect.
And there's a third one that we will be bringing to you. It's a CAD system. It's essentially our computerized dispatching system. So if you didn't know, we're currently handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
But carrier pigeon works so well.
It's been around so long. And the chief can speak more toward A, but what prompted this is that we only have one radar.
And
I was
we've
gonna
only
say
had
what-
one since
what prompted it.
2018.
I can't.
So,
So
I
it's
move-
your recommendation that we approve?
That is my recommendation.
I move that we approve the quote for radar equipment for PD, the purchase to be paid for using ARPA funds.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's go to B, discussion and consider quotes for renovations at the police department.
These were, we had talked about this extensively during budget, and remember we had put a significant amount of money
Mhm.
into the budget for police department renovations. All of these are not being done at one time. So we are starting with, the first quote that you see, and that is renovation of our lobby and, office space. Our education room, currently we're breaking that up into, essentially 2 offices and still a training room, but, putting a wall and making it 2 offices. One of the biggest concerns right now with the lobby of the police station is that we're not ADA compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these renovations are addressing some of the public, ADA compliance issues of just getting into the building. So we have done an extensive walkthrough and kind of what we feel is prioritize some of these needs, from the top to the bottom. Some of them can be pushed out a little bit longer, but I think you all have been to the police department lately, and it's been a spot of neglect for some time. And so as I had stressed during budget time, is that, you know, we're kind of tabbing this year as the year of of our police department. We need to put some serious love back into it, and I think, putting some of that love into our home is where we
And was Venus the only bid that we received for this project?
Yes, because we've continued to use them, been happy with their work. I mean, we can certainly bid it out to,
I have no problems. I just wasn't sure if we'd gotten a bid or if we were just working with their existing contractor. This totals $190K roughly for everything. Can you refresh my memory what we approved in the budget?
Mhm.
$250, okay. And I'm assuming it's your recommendation we approve?
Chief, if we convert the front training space into 2 additional offices, do you still have adequate space for training needs in the meantime?
For the size of our department, yes.
Okay.
But do you anticipate in the future?
A bigger police department.
Yes.
Okay.
and he's already made some great changes with rearranging stuff. I know that the mayor has been over there, Mayor Pro Tem has been over there lately. I recommend y'all, if y'all can, just stop by at any time and check it out. They've kind of rearranged some stuff and already kind of done some really great, kind of reorganization, just trying to give everybody a place so that when they are on duty, everybody feels comfortable and has their own office space and that. So, feel free to stop by anytime and just kind of check it out. And if you haven't driven by lately, it looks fantastic. The outside is painted, new roof, new color.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It looks great. Like tomorrow, there's gonna be some minor kind of desert dry scaping done in the front just to kind of make it look welcoming and inviting. So it's looking really nice. Like I'm really
Half the cars are gone.
right. Half the cars are gone.
But all the
It's
new
really
cars just
looking
came in,
nice.
so.
Well, Chief, I'm mostly concerned that you're moving the TV out of your office into the public space. How are you gonna keep up on the game? I'm teasing.
I'm a music guy.
Further discussion? Motion?
I move that we approve the quotes for renovations at the police department to be done by Venus Construction. Did I miss it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item C, discussion, consider quotes for ticket writers.
And those were extra outside of your packet, I think, on the counter.
This was the other one that I said were,
Is this the Taylor,
Tyler,
the
yeah.
Tyler one? Okay.
And again, this is a proprietary system. Tyler's the only one that offers this system. The system will actually communicate with our new software that we're getting with
That's my
FundView.
first question.
So just to kind of clarify the way that it works is the officer writes the ticket. When the ticket is downloaded and exported out of the police department, it immediately goes to the courts department. Once it hits the software in the courts department, the ticket cannot be, there's specific actions that require the ticket in order to be put into an archive system. So the ticket can't get lost, it can't, there are steps, accountability
shredded.
steps.
Right.
So for us, internally, not only does it help the accountability between police and municipal courts, but any funds that are obtained on the write-off on that ticket automatically hits our general ledger and our finance system. So I don't wanna say never, but there's essentially no possibility of a missing ticket or missing funds. Everything is accounted for in a time-stamped system from the time the officer exports the ticket to where it is paid on the back end with municipal courts and hits our general fund. If you didn't already know, right now, we're still handwriting tickets. So that's a very, not only laborious process, but there's a lot of room for error in that tickets can get misplaced, they can get lost. I know that it's hard for the chief and his staff to really kind of reconcile and records management a lot of those tickets. So this is a system where, at any time he can pull a report, he can provide that report to match with dispatchers or to provide incident report. It all becomes more usable with the system.
But additionally, when the ticket goes to the courts, they're having to manually enter it into the general ledger
Correct.
right now because the courts software does not communicate
Well,
with
they
our
have to enter
financial
it into
software.
the court software as a ticket, and And then whatever happens with the ticket, they have to then take it, however the ticket is paid, and then enter it into the general ledger. So essentially, from the time a ticket is issued to when it is paid and filtered out of the system, it's a 4-step entry process. And then Sherry has to literally take the sheet of paper, fold it up, put it in an envelope, and file it in a file cabinet. So it's a very labor-intensive process.
And I know that process has led to a lot of misplaced tickets, lost funds
But
along.
also, I mean, as y'all have seen in City Hall, I mean, storage, just the
Mhm.
storage of paper tickets in a day and age where everything has become electronically stored in a cloud or on a server. This really helps that process, especially for, Ms. Molina's record retention purposes. Eliminating the paper side of things will be very helpful for us.
So I saw that there's about a $42,000 one-time cost to get this installed, and there's a $16,000 annual cost. Will they be charging us that annual cost for 2023?
It's built into that initial cost.
The initial 40 includes that for 2023?
As with any software, it's always expensive the first year because they're building out the actual software.
I get it. I just wanted to make sure if that was, if it was built in or if it was going to be an additional for 2023.
It's
Okay.
And then is 6 enough for the patrol fleet?
six
Yeah,
writers.
Is that what it was?
that's, what's on this quote is 6.
Yes, 6
Ticket
zebra
writers.
printers.
Oh,
That's just the printer.
The printer.
Mhm.
Yeah, the printer's fine.
So the ticket writers themselves, am I missing that on here?
It's actually run through their.
Yeah.
Through the-
Okay,
It goes, yeah.
didn't see
But a
that.
quantity of 6 printers is sufficient?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I think just as we forecast for the city as well, anticipating as our staff grows or changes, I think just any kind of, this is a procedure that could be put in place that's also for the protection of our future staff and police department as well. And like you said, having those fail-safes in place to where it reduces the possibility of mistakes or something like that, and
But
protects the individual that's handling it so that they don't get falsely accused.
And it
for
protects
anything.
police, courts,
Correct.
our accounts receivable person. I mean, everybody gets a layer of redundancy and protection that isn't there with our current system.
So, back to the 6 printers, are those going directly in vehicles, or is there one
They're
reserve?
mobile, so I mean, you can move
Okay,
from vehicle to vehicle.
okay. That's why I was concerned about having a backup just in case one went down. Y'all weren't necessarily,
Per shift, how many cars do you guys have out right now?
3.
Two or three? Okay.
So as the department grows, 6 would
Right.
be
That'd
sufficient.
be good.
Okay.
You ready for a motion, Mayor?
yes, sir.
I move that we accept the Tyler Technologies proposal for the ticket writers and that they would be paid for out of the ARPA funding.
Second, sorry.
Take Ms. Newendorf.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item D, discuss and consider the acceptance of the RFP for depository banking service.
On this one, I'm proposing that we accept the RFP for depository banking services from New First National Bank, which is headquartered in Rosenberg. We had 2 people apply for RFPs. We had New First National Bank and we had Stellar Bank. When you're dealing with public administration, and treasury management, there is a fee for banking. So I will say that, with New First, the fees were significantly less than Stellar. I'm not sure why, but there was quite a difference in banking fees there. I personally, from a professional perspective, the cities I've been with have banked with both Stellar, and then the bank that Stellar was before that, as well as New First. I think they were both, adequate banks to deal with. But New First does have a very specialized public administration treasury department, where they have bankers that are dedicated to only dealing with cities, counties and school districts. And like I said, they, were a little bit more aggressive on some of the Cedars investments opportunities, and they're significantly cheaper.
It's my understanding that they will provide depositories that will be kept here at the office, so we don't have to worry about running across the street to Wells Fargo, and, yeah, okay.
More discussion?
So you're not thinking about still, are you going with the new first bank?
Right, that's what she's saying, use the new first, because of the significant savings in fees and costs.
What was the difference between the transaction fees between New First and Stellar?
$38
$38 per transaction?
Transaction.
for 5 transactions.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Insignificant.
You gotta
Yeah,
take it
that's a
out
lot of money.
I know, but they in here, everything's going outside the city.
Ready for a motion?
How many transactions do we do average a month?
We do quite a bit, it's about 200.
So that's significant savings then.
And Stellar, I think because of the nature of New First, that they are dealing with specifically public administration, they have a department that's already handled. There were a lot of things like ACHs, direct deposit that they were not charging for, that Stellar was charging for. And I know that that's one thing that going forward, we'd like to be more proactive in. You know, currently our employees, we pay with a paper check, we don't do direct deposit. So not having a fee associated with those direct deposits, that's a substantial savings to the city.
And that'll help.
I can't quote exactly, I mean, because there were like 50 different products that had
Right.
fees on them. But the biggest difference was, there was a significant banking difference.
I guess I'm always in favor of trying to support folks that are in the local community, but at the same point in time, those folks need to be able to be competitive in the pricing and those types of things as well, so.
And where's this located again?
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg.
Any,
Just down the road.
any close,
Huh?
Any closer?
closer than Rosenberg?
I think they have a branch in Katy.
I know direct deposit has been a big request from our staff as well, so they can get paid faster without paychecks bouncing.
And I do always recommend, especially with banking services, I mean, I value what Monique was saying, in that, doing business, within the city. References are a big deal, and talking to other cities and what banking institutions they use. And some banks just are better equipped to handle public administration than other banks. Like, we're using Wells Fargo right now. Wells Fargo is located in the city. But if we need help from Wells Fargo, we have to contact somebody in Denver, Colorado. And it takes 3 to 5 business days to get them to respond back to a simple request. So you kind of have to look at the way that the module is set up. While they might have a location in your city, it doesn't mean that they're mechanically set up to be able to operate and help you one-on-one with issues
Absolutely.
that are here. And we're not, a municipality, a governmental agency doesn't use banking services like we do as individuals. It's very, very different. There's very different stipulations, there's different regulations. And so that's a big thing that we look at too when we're evaluating different banking options.
Have we placed a time frame for making this transition in
It's-
any of this?
No, I mean, it's basically on approval. So once it's approved, we'll go back to them and then we'll set up kind of what that looks like to transition.
And are we thinking that's 30 days, 90 days,
Typically
beginning
about
of the
60
year?
days.
Okay.
It's typically what that process is. And keep in mind, currently right now, the city of Brookshire has 17 bank accounts.
I get it. Trust me, that's the reason I would love to see that happen in 60 seconds instead of 60 days. So,
I mean, like for instance, using the mayor as an example, he can't even get on to view specific accounts because it's such a laborious process because we can't just walk across the street and say, hey, can we have access to this? That's not how it works, unfortunately.
On section 6, I apologize, 7, the term of the contract is February 1st, 2019 and ending January 31st, 2024. So we'll need to have that amended if we go with this contract. Can you speak to the difference in the interest rate as far as what we were making with not Bank of America, with Wells Fargo versus the 2.4, I think is the estimate on this one? 0?
0 to 2.4?
It's 2.4 is a significant jump.
And so ideally, the way that we will structure that is we will take our general operating fund, and we'll take into account that the FDIC, threshold limit is 250,000 that's protected. So we'll keep 250,000 in our operating fund, and everything over that, we will move and migrate into Cedars Investments funds. And so that's one of the things that, I will say New First was a little bit more aggressive on, is what those rates are, and being able, let me back up. Those rates change every 13 weeks or 52 weeks. You can change different products. Cedars run in increments of 13-week, 22 week, 52 weeks. But they were more aggressive in the pricing of how we scale that out, and that is on section 4, investment activity.
The reason, I apologize.
And what New First did was New First actually went in and gave us the current structure rate under Cedars, showing us the difference from a 4-week all the way to a 3-year investment strategy and what those interest rates were. Their 13-week interest rate was 4.3, 26 was 4.32, and 52 is 4.6.
And I can tell y'all from a conversation I had today with administrative staff at Royal ISD, they recently started changing how they did their investment portfolio, and within just a couple of months, they had earned $300-something thousand in interest, which now has allowed them to purchase at least one bus, potentially going with 2. So it's critical, especially as we're talking about streets and drainage and stuff like that that needs to be done, that we're capturing every interest dollar we can to help supplement our budget.
Mm-hmm.
There was one other thing I remembered from, besides the date in the contract under section 6 overdrafts. It says the interest rate for overdrafts should be prime plus 300. I think that there's a period missing there. Maybe that's 3.00. 300% interest would be a lot.
Maybe the copy too. And then will we try to time direct deposit with moving over to this bank? So we're not issuing paper checks? Okay.
And that's not to say that.
Yeah, it may not be
deposit
perfect.
is gonna happen immediately, because
Right.
there's the biggest element with direct deposit has not necessarily been the same. It's been Encode.
Yep.
And the availability of Encode to write that direct deposit file that is then shared with. I do know one of the biggest, I think there was a pretty significant, difference in, you will see where you talk about ACH items, under section 3, where it talks about account activities on the back, where it specifically addresses ACHs. For ACH, daily 2-day items, monthlies, and transactions, there was actually no charge. So, when we have specific bills, like let's say electricity, we pick it up on an auto draft.
Auto pay. Uh-huh.
Essentially what this tells us is that auto draft amount, they're processing it as a 2-day ACH auto draft process. They're not charging us for that. So
Okay.
we're not getting dinged for every single one of those automatic ACHs that we set up to pay standard bills.
That's helpful.
Questions?
Motion?
Yes, sir.
I move that we accept the proposal for New First Bank and expedite our move to that bank as much as possible.
Can you amend your motion to include the two changes as discussed?
I'd amend that to the two changes as mentioned.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
None opposed.
Mr. Hill, other than the dates, what was the second change that was requested?
Prime plus 3.
Gotcha.
Prime plus
300.
Prime plus 300. That was under section 6?
Section 6.
7.
7.
7 for the date.
6 for the interest, 7 for the dates.
Okay.
Item E, discuss and consider the acceptance of the RFP for solid waste services.
So we came last month and we approved an extension for Republic. We've extended Republic's contract through the end of the year, December 31st, with the intention of starting a new waste hauler January 1st. I will say Republic declined to bid on the new contract. We actually had one person, Texas Pride, this is Kevin Atkinson, who's the president of Texas Pride. So, Texas Pride is local. I've personally worked with them before in other cities. We were faced with a very interesting situation with Texas Pride because we asked in the RFP that we sent out for each of the haulers to quote it several different ways, being master bill and for us doing the billing to see what that price difference is. I will say one of the reasons that Republic declined to actually put in for this is because they're hauling trash going the other direction outside of Houston on the east side, and it's just what we were paying in a contracted price was not, they were losing money. And there was not a good can count per household, so people over the years had acquired, maybe their neighbor moved, and so they went and snagged an extra trash can, and then, so it had gotten really out of hand, and Republic was actually, it was not lucrative. The contract in Brookshire was not lucrative for them. There were also some issues in the way that we were operating trash service and the incorporation of the water district and how that relationship worked. There were several months where the city was months behind on being paid for trash service from the water district, which meant that the city couldn't pay the bill because we hadn't been paid for the service from the residents. So going forward, we obviously are assuming this responsibility as a city service, but we did ask for it to be priced in 2 different ways. Currently, we are paying at the extended contract rate through December 20. Our previous price was $14.67. It has increased with Republic at the end of the year.
I thought it was 21.
I think it's
21.
Yeah.
That's right. So with Texas Pride, the rates that they put in their proposal was for master build, if we build internally, would be $16.35 a month, and then individually billed, if Texas Pride were to bill it, would be $27.95. So that left us in a position to discuss, is this truly something that we can take on? And we have really kind of honed down in that, yes, it is, because with our new software system, there is a utility module. I don't want to oversimplify it and say it's super easy, but when we were at TML, we took some time talking with our software creator and talking with Kevin about what does that look like? What does the process look like? And it's really not as labor intensive as we thought it was. So there will be a learning curve. We have 2 employees that we've already talked to about taking on the outward billing and working with the households, uploading those households from Kevin, and then having them billed out. Invoices will be sent out to each of the households. And then when the households come in to pay for the trash, they will come in. We have another employee who will specifically do accounts receivable for those trash accounts. And our utility system, Eric and I actually demoed it. It was very reasonable. It was not difficult.
I was talking with the software developer at TML as well, and one of the questions I asked him was about, can you set up this for auto pay? 'Cause I auto pay all my bills at the house, and he was saying, yeah, very simple to do with his software. It would really be whether FundView can do that, and I'm familiar with FundView to know that that's not a problem there. So I love that as an option for our citizens, that they'll be able to just put this on.
And one option that we did ask specifically on, Councilwoman Branches had asked in the past, and I think you had asked as well, about being able to pay for your trash service a year in advance.
Mhm.
So the way that a utility account is set up is through our bank. We set up a specific utility account so that when that money comes in, it sits in a utility holding account, and then it's paid out of that account. So the way that the software is set up, people can pay for their trash a year in advance, because the money comes in, it sits in the utility account, and then each month we just pay. The account will show its process, and then we just pay it out each month.
So what would be the proposed rate to the resident?
If we do the billing, it's $16.35.
That's what they're going to charge us, but we're going to have to build into that something to pay for the employees doing the billing and all of that, right?
Honestly, garbage is really just a pass-through.
So we're not going to try to recapture any
Really, it's a pass-through.
employee costs.
Unfortunately. And because we know that we have been on a very unrealistic fee for a very long time. So we knew that there was gonna be an increase in trash, and at this time, it just didn't seem feasible to add an administrative cost on top of just the fee, because the rate is already increasing $2 from what Republic, our Republic, yes, it's going to be a decrease from September to December, but the past, 3 years, it was 14, or 5 years, 14 something, and now we're going to 16. And I will say, even $16.35 is
Wow.
incredibly competitive in the market right now.
I absolutely agree. I don't think you're going to see any pushback at all. I would hope not, with everything has gone up so much in cost since the lockdowns of the United States,
So that's what I'm saying, like.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think you could probably have
So-
tried to recoup an administrative fee, and I don't think you would have gotten much pushback, but.
So how it's gonna cut them, that's all. Cause it's on our water bill, so how is it gonna cut them from charging us for the water bill?
So the water district is removing
Right.
trash. As, November the 17th, the water district will no longer be billing any trash.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying is it's put the city in a very precarious position, because there were lengths of time where the city would go 3 and 4 months and did not receive the collections from the water district, and so here we were having to turn around and pay Republic for services rendered, but we hadn't been paid from, like, if you paid your trash bill.
From the water district.
The water district hadn't paid us for that, so it put a lot of strain on the city to have to turn around and pay a $50,000 a month trash bill when we hadn't been paid. So essentially, we're taking it on as an internal city service so that we can have better customer service. We can deal one-on-one with the hauling provider. We're at a point now that the water district has been unwilling to provide us with the addresses of everybody who gets trash in the city. So we're having to go back and do our own due diligence to figure out who all in the city of Brookshire.
And not just us, Republic's been asking for it for
Yes,
2
Republic.
years, and they refuse to provide that information to them.
We know the water district.
I was looking through this, and I was not clear on how Texas Pride would handle the bulk pickup days.
That's my first
I'm going to
question.
let Kevin address that.
So the way I read it, it's on call every Friday, but you have to call in.
So we have to call.
That's what I'm wondering, is it back to calling in as opposed to,
That's what the contract reads.
yeah.
No, right.
Kevin Atkins, I'm the founder of Texas Pride. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. We have built the company with the simple mindset that, this is not our program, it's your program. And so we're here to build that program for you guys in whatever best method that is. On the bulky, the RFP had an option for an on-call type setup. I think there was an option in there as well for just a weekly collection. Guys come by and pick stuff up. So as we go through the drafting the contract, we can work with you guys on whatever that preference is ultimately, if it's just a scheduled weekly collection where guys come by and drive by, or if it is a on-call system.
Okay.
And that, the fees for that are built into the 1635?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And I will say, just as a caveat to the relationship with Kevin, we wrote it into this contract as well, and I've dealt with Kevin, in another city that I was where he was our provider, is that Texas Pride is very community friendly in helping us with our events. Not only in helping us with cans and trash pickup and dumpsters, but one thing that we've done is to help with Keep Brookshire Beautiful and the advocacy of sustainable living, recycling, healthy, clean environment in our community. Each year they'll make a pretty sizable donation to our Keep Brookshire Beautiful organization, and I think it comes every April. And so that's one thing that they have pledged to us, is that with the, and it's Republic does this. I mean, it's pretty common
Sure.
that homeowners do this with the cities, but I just wanted to notate that is something that we did write into the contract, is there would be some sort of additional contribution to the city for Keep Brookshire.
I would think that once a week would be
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's-
easier.
Yeah.
than
Instead of on-call.
Yeah, yeah.
We had the on-call before, and it just seemed like it was a lot of confusion. And then also just keeping in mind that a large portion of our population are elderly,
Right.
as well as a large portion are still primarily Spanish speaking, and sometimes lack the comfortable and confidence to call in. And then there was confusion as to whether they had to call here or call Republic directly. And that's kind of how I think over time it evolved to where Kim kind of became the
The trash
unofficial
Contact.
trash lady of Brookshire, and exactly, and she was like, I'm the one that's contacting you, having to relay messages, and it became a huge point of confusion. That was the kind of the precipice of changing our contract with Republic at the time to just come weekly. I know that because I was reading through some of the contract details, and it was very specific about if you have weekly large trash pickup, this is what it has to be, and no more than this number per week. It was like 10 bundles of, like limbs, they need to be 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot, no
which
more
is
than
similar
50
to what
pounds,
Republic
things
is
like
now.
that.
Which one y'all got the trucks that lift and dump, or how? Or y'all people?
They have both.
Yeah, we have both.
Okay.
So we proposed the weekly collection for the cart with the
Automatic arm.
And then on the back side of that, with the bulky, the overflow, we can do it one of two ways, and we can figure this out with you guys. We'll either have a rear load truck with guys off the back hanging off to collect this stuff, or alternatively, and it loosens up some of the restrictions. And truthfully, even just driving around this evening, I could see some of the stuff that's out for, I believe, tomorrow with Republic. We've also
It was
got-
supposed to be
It
yesterday,
was Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
hence the reason why we're here.
sorry about that. We have boom trucks as well that can grab that stuff and pick it up. So instead of having to tie and bundle and all that, you can put it out there, and our boom truck can grab it. So City of Alvin's our customer. We have the city divided into 4 zones down there. Theirs is a monthly service, is what they opted for. But each Wednesday we come by for each of those 4 zones, and instead of having to worry about tying and bundling, or siding off of a house or whatever it might be, they just put it at the curb, and our boom truck grabs it, picks it up, and takes it away from there. So we can work with you guys on either of those options as well.
So,
I would say we'd probably want to avoid any large items like that, just for if it's sitting there for a lengthy amount of time.
Sometimes we need our couches picked up, because I'm not
Kevin, I do have one question
I'm
with
sorry?
the,
our couches, one will take
some
my.
of the supply issues right now.
Oh,
Do you think
well, I
January is a fair enough
we could still do
timeline
like
to get the cans?
Yeah, absolutely. Shouldn't be a problem. We have the timing's perfect. Polycarts won't be a problem for us, for the residents. The steel dumpsters, we actually have more than you guys have in the city in inventory at our
That's
facility
what I'm
right now.
saying, big pickup
And our
once a week.
manufacturer's right here in Houston as well, so
Cause
that's no
they-
problem. And then trucks are the biggest caveat, but we have spare equipment right now, and then we have a very good relationship with a truck rental company. So even with ordering equipment, that lead time right now is typically about 9 months for new equipment. But with the rental company, we'll have, equipment in place, and then when those trucks come in that we've purchased, those
And
will
then,
replace the rental.
really quickly, do you remember offhand the franchise deal?
Not off the top of my head on that one.
Should be 7%. So one of the biggest difference with this new contract is that we will be paying, Excess Pride will be paying the city of Brookshire a franchise fee on all residential and commercial accounts. Currently, we do not have a franchise fee with Republic, so we've made 0 on any sort of residential franchise because the water district was managing it. So that's typically not how these contracts work. Cities typically have franchise fees in place for a reason. So that is one thing that will be beneficial, that will kind of recoup, recoup some of that administrative costs, is that we will now be having our being able to collect those franchise.
Okay, couple questions. I see we're gonna have a direct phone number, email, will be linked on y'all's website.
Sir.
Is it possible, Ms. Ward, when we look at, I know we've discussed doing a phone tree, so when people call in, if they wanna go to permits, they'd hit the button to go in, to add one for bulk trash pickup, hit this number so it rings directly to them?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Sure.
Okay. I don't see a price for a second can. Is that being,
It's $5, it's in there,
I
so.
didn't see it, okay, good.
$5 per month.
So if
Perfect.
you get 2, it's 16 plus 5.
The compactor location, is that gonna be at Public Works, or where are we anticipating that?
And we'll be able to provide whatever you guys need. I'm not sure if it's a compactor, if it's an open top roll-off. Those city services that we typically, for facilities just like this, we provide that at no charge.
I thought I read a compactor. I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure I did. We'll come back to that. On the complimentary services for the city, what is WWTP at 3502 10th Street?
Wastewater treatment plant.
Why
Oh,
are
that one,
we,
yeah, that one needs to be taken out.
yeah, that
That's
one
the
needs to be
water
removed.
district. I overlooked that one.
And would we, or should we consider adding or replacing WWT with the police department?
Yes.
And then, I may have missed it,
So instead of giving the water
Oh,
to place,
okay.
we'll give it to the police department
He's
for the
some what?
complimentary service?
I may have missed it, but for roll-offs that citizens order, does this prohibit a citizen from getting a roll-off from another company?
Yes.
It does, okay.
They get
Because we're franchised.
They'll get exclusive
I'm good with
franchise
that, I
rights
knew
for
our
city.
existing, I just wanna make sure that was still clarity. The bulk pickup you have on Friday, and I know we're not your only city. I called several friends in Hedwig Village and they're great with y'all's service. Is there any way to move that date?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, so again, it depends on the type of truck that we have using it.
Sure.
What I would say is if you guys would prefer that the boom style truck be out here, we would probably do on like a Monday or Tuesday as
Okay.
opposed to a Friday. For us, those rear load style trucks, a lot of our work is traditionally twice a week. And so we typically see 65 to 70% of the volume we pick up on that first service day, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the lighter day, which allows those rear load style trucks. So yeah, if you guys would prefer it to be that, like I said, that boom style grapple truck, we could pivot that and do like a Monday or a Tuesday
I
for
mean,
it.
I'll let y'all work out
That's for
those
the peak
details.
time.
I just know over the weekend, we typically see a lot of people put out bags of stuff and clean their yards and,
'Cause that's whenever
Spring
people have
cleaning and all
time to
that
do.
fun stuff.
So doing it on Friday is,
Councilwoman Branch's concerns, because, especially in the downtown area with the trees and the
Yeah.
bags of leaves, people are doing work over the weekend, and
Yep.
then have them sitting there the entire week until a Friday
Right.
pickup.
Yeah, it actually works out for us. So Alvin runs, like I said, on Wednesdays, and then what they let us do is, when there is a significant amount of volume in the spring or fall, or a storm comes through and knocks a bunch of branches down, it's Wednesday, but it's really Wednesday, Thursday, and then occasionally it's maybe Friday we get out there. So with you guys, we could do you guys on Monday, and then if there's excessive volume, it might trickle into Tuesday, but it would definitely be every week that truck would come by, and
Okay.
like I said, within a day or two.
I know that was one of the things that Ms. Branch had brought up at the last meeting as well, is because I think with our contract with Republic, there was a certain number of bags of leaves per residence that were allowed. However, whenever you look at, like especially in the downtown area, and even some of the other lots that extend throughout our city, they're not necessarily uniform in size. So to use my own house as an example, my house is on a triple lot, so it's a half-acre lot, and we have, I don't know, maybe we're down to 9 large oak trees now. If I rake my leaves at one time, we've had 63 bags of leaves before, but if we were limited to 10.
Yep.
So it would take 6 weeks to get them all picked up on sometime, and it was, yeah.
That's the other benefit of
The boom
ground
truck.
style service is,
Yeah.
What we typically do, instead of saying, 8 bags or 8 bundles, 10 bags, 10 bundles, is we just typically say, up to, call it 6 cubic yards. So just think of like a car parked at the curb. If that's out there, then our guys will pick that up.
It looks like a car parked at the
Yeah,
curb.
and 63 is not the most I've ever seen, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But even with that, what we typically do then is if somebody does have a massive pile they put out there, whether it be, they clean their whole garage out, or they were evicted and the entire house is at the curb, you can actually go directly through our website. We can put a link on that same webpage where you can contact us ahead of time instead of having to call us and get a roll-off box and bring it out there. Although I would encourage you with the franchise fee, you can pay us directly for a pay pile. And then what we do is we send a truck out, and with the excessive volume, you load a few pictures up, our team quotes it on the backside of it, and then that fee is paid, and we collect the excessive amount that's out there. So if
Okay.
somebody puts a whole garage out there, we get it picked up once it's paid for.
Okay.
So on page 19, I will work with Kevin and make that amendment to the third paragraph about bulky overflow to read whatever y'all feel is fair, Monday or Tuesday with the boom truck.
And then the last question I have, for the city staff we're talking, that would be Miss Margie McFarland, Miss Yolanda Richards.
Yes.
Right, okay, great.
How many trucks would y'all normally run, just say regular trucks?
Yep, absolutely. So the way we have it set up, split, the reason for the split also is you've got commercial hand collect that goes twice a week. So
Mhm.
on a Tuesday, Friday schedule, we get half the city on a Tuesday, half the city on a Friday. There'd be one automated side load truck out here to grab everything with the on that Tuesday, and another one out here on that Friday.
And the map is in there, it's split.
Can you clarify which one is red and
Red
blue?
is the top.
Red is the top, okay.
Sorry, that's our mistake. The black and white copies,
I figured, but
the
just
top
wanted,
is red.
okay.
And same thing there, for us, what we basically did is we counted all the houses throughout the city, hand count, Google Maps and being out here. And then we'll just kind of try to split that as close as we could. If you guys have any suggestions or feedback or tweaks you'd like us to make to that too, to that as well, we can adjust that slightly as well.
Do we, I know that we have a potentially, well, not potentially, but new neighborhoods coming that are supposed to be annexed into the city. So does our contract allow for flexibility as those are added? Okay,
It's not based on household, it's based on their quote, estimated quote rate.
okay. There's new neighborhoods that are requested annexation. They're supposed to break ground by the end of the year, so that's why I just
Yeah, absolutely.
FYI.
We're
So
used
like
to it.
this may have to shift because a lot of the new houses are coming on the north side.
Yeah, and as you guys grow, City of Katie's our customer. When they went out to bid, they were 6,300 homes. We ordered 7,000 carts for them, and we were short because they'd outgrown the 7,000. And I think we're servicing 8,500 homes for them now. So as they've grown and moved, we've adjusted the routes as we've needed to as well. Alvin actually is the same. We were originally a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday down there, and now we've added a Wednesday to part of the city as well. So we'll adapt and grow with you guys as you guys grow.
And if we have to adapt, I would say just to make sure communication is sent out to the households that it may affect so they don't think that they're forgotten 1 week. But I have a question about I can't find the page. There was a mention of recycling services. Is that included? Is that something that's extra?
Those were additional options we had provided.
And I'll be just completely candid. Most people don't recycle correctly enough for the
No, I know.
for the fee.
Okay.
For the fee
That's
to be
true.
substantiated, and I know that the fee for recycling has increased because I'm sure as Kevin can tell you, the cost to recycle has gotten a lot more expensive.
Mhm.
And so it's just, I think it's better served, and Waller County has several areas for recycling that we can help facilitate and advocate for customers to do that rather than to impose a recycling fee
Mhm.
when probably won't be utilized to suffice that additional cost.
I know there's a recycling center on Morton. You do have to bring things in separated and they don't only allow certain things, so.
for us at any given time, if you know, at some point need to tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, we're interested in adding this service, we can always amend the agreement
Okay.
and add it accordingly.
But you guys are using the same landfills that are out here that all have some sort of single stream system in them anyway, right?
So the landfills that are here in Houston, there's really no diversion whatsoever from them. If you're going through, our trucks are going through, it's dumped straight into the
Really? Okay.
hole in the ground and buried. When we do provide recycling, whether it be curbside single stream or commercial containers, the dumpsters over the top for typically like cardboard, we take that to a separate facility. There's a few across the greater Houston area, but the company we use is called ITR, Independent Texas Recyclers. We drop the material on the ground at their facility. It goes through their separate truck, picks it up. It goes through their sort system. On the backside of it is your cardboard, your paper, your glass, cans, bottles. And then from there, they turn around and process that material, and any of the residual from the wish cycling or just the poor habits of it ends up being a cost for them that ends up being but they're our processor. We run on any given month anywhere from 15 to 2,500 tons through their facility, just depending on holidays and stuff of that nature. But yeah, unfortunately, Texas is land is cheap in Texas, so there's no real incentive to process at those facilities. So every time we run a truck through the landfill or through a transfer station, it's typically just going straight to the landfill.
Do we have a recycling facility in the city at this point, or a collection spot?
It's just outside of the city. It's on Morton.
It's all the way up in Morton? Okay.
Yeah, have you been there?
I know where that one is. I just wasn't sure if there was one
No.
closer.
And that one, they do offer a drive-through service. Like, you literally drive your car through the building. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
but they do. I mean, because we used to bring everything kind of like single.
Yeah, I've only been there when we moved here. I drove up there because I had an entire truckload of cardboard. So the only time I've been up there, but
And that's certainly something that we can task, and we can work with Kevin on just, first of all, recycling is a mindset.
Yeah.
And it's the advocacy of the mindset. So if the community is not used to
Right.
recycling what that looks like, then it becomes, I don't wanna say not worth it, but there's a lot of education that needs to go into it. And that's certainly something that we can task our new Keep Brookshire Beautiful group with, is working with Kevin, getting tips, and maybe we use that as an education.
Well, there's so many more stipulations too than I think you do. Like, I know even in our packet, like the little triangle number on the bottom of your plastic thing, if it's not one of those numbers, they won't accept it up here. And
People look at this and they think, oh, that's plastic.
it's
that's
plastic,
recyclable.
but it's not necessarily.
Recyclable, this isn't, the straw isn't recyclable.
Right.
And you technically
It's
have
cumbersome.
to peel all these labels off for this to be recyclable. So
And then any food
like I said,
containers have to be
it's a habit,
rinsed.
Like it's a lifestyle.
Thank you.
And understand-
Because
It's a
my own
lot. No, it's a
neighborhood,
lot.
We didn't do it. We had one.
I know there's like Stericycle.
We just get paid.
Stericycle will sometimes put like stations where you can drop like the different cellophane food packaging things into. But then once again, what if somebody decides to throw a half-eaten Subway sandwich in there, and then and then it's anyway.
No. In another life, I was very involved with recycling plastics and specifically the bottles that we all drink out of. And there's a reason that there aren't more recyclables of those. That's because it's far cheaper to make a new plastic bottle
Right.
than it is to recycle a plastic bottle. So
You can build an Earth ship with it.
yeah,
Have you seen that
yeah.
documentary? The guy that builds houses out of cans and bottles.
So we'd look to implement with this in January 1st. What's the transition look like for that as far as getting old cans out, new
That's
cans
what I would
in?
ask him. I know that for a while there was a supply chain issue with some of the cans, but he said he has enough cans to work with that.
So you guys would come around the week of Christmas and drop off everybody a new present? And,
Santa will come late for that side of it. But yeah, the last that week between Christmas and New Year's, it'll take us
Gonna
probably
need
about
about
3
2 or 3.
days to get everybody a cart rolled out, and then on the commercial side, just a list of do you have an 8-yard, do you have a 4-yard, do you have a 2-yard, and that'll take probably about a week to get that rolled out as well. We'll work with you guys if there's an area we could stage containers for the week while we bring them in to get going, and that way we are not running back and forth to get this knocked out. But typically, it's a pretty simple process from that side of it. On the removal side of it, truthfully, it's a more tedious process. coming across containers, especially on the residential side, that have trash still in them or broken or the wheels are stuck on them. So, you know, just I would say be patient with Republic on the backside of it because it is a little more tedious on the removal of containers as opposed to the rollout of them.
So, question, when they do get broken, stuff like that, how's the process with that?
Yep, absolutely. So, great question. It happens a lot. It's a piece of plastic. We live in one of the toughest environments in the country for it. We've got the extremes of our heat and cold here, and then we've got the very strong UV rays, which are very bad for those containers as well. So when they do break, if it's an issue that, you know, our truck caused or our guys caused or just, you know, wear and tear, residents simply just need to contact us and say, hey, my container broke. That's another thing you can do right on our website. You can load a picture up and say, hey, here's the lid on the side of the cart, or here's the wheel that fell off of it. Provide the address, and then we schedule within a few days a swap or repair of that container. We do typically, if a resident calls and says, hey, I tried to use it as my fire pit this weekend and it didn't work, it's the resident's responsibility to purchase that replacement cart at that point. But yeah, typically they're usually warranted for 10 to 12 years depending on the manufacturer, and so we are happy to replace it as long as it's not.
I bet you have some stories.
I can write
Another day.
few books. So, yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys actively work on making sure that all of the cans have lids on them? I see a lot of ones around here that don't have lids on them.
Yep,
That's all I'm
absolutely.
saying, that's another
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, the lids get
Lids-
dumped
lids
into the
and
trash
wheels.
can, and then that person just keeps using it, and garbage is all over the place. So
Trust me,
It's
I
an
know.
easy fix
I
for
just
us,
cleaned
too.
up my yard for the people across the street.
I hate that.
Container, and then
Me
they've
too.
got 2 of their own containers
So
on
the-
the side.
Because it's going to be automated, it would need to be in our cart. So again, if they, you know, add the additional carts to their account, we don't care if we've got a household in Katy that's got 7 carts. I don't know what they do, but they pay for 7 carts. So we're happy to service those.
My goodness.
But yeah, as long as it's in our cart with the automated service, our guys will service it as they go by. So
It's a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
they do.
used to say, when I built my house, we had.
I kind of feel this is like our banking. We couldn't do worse.
We paid for the transport.
in our current situation. So.
But they used to.
One of the concerns I have, this logistical on our part, the water district, we're due what, the 15th of each month? 15th, 16th, somewhere in there.
Yes.
So if we're gonna start
15th, 16th, 16th? Yeah.
16th, thank you, Ms. McDade. If we're gonna start collection on the first of the month, are we gonna kind of be prorating an additional month the first time, or what's that gonna look
That's a
like?
Kevin question, but I will say, I think it's gonna be hard to be like, okay, it's an absolute start date of the 1st. So Laura
Sure.
with Republic has been great with us in acknowledging that we extended the contract to the end of December to get us through holiday pickup.
Okay.
With, you know, Christmas and New Year's. But knowing that the carts would be ready with whoever our provider was, so that trying to make it as seamless as possible. So I'm sure we could work with them on doing the prorated, however that would look.
Yeah, or just,
Um,
which, even if you did prorate, it'll be close to what we're gonna be paying per month for the next couple of months. So it may not be a terrible thing, I just don't wanna see surprise
And I'm sure.
month and a
I mean,
half
I'm
worth
just
of
gonna put
billing to
this
get
out
it
there.
caught up.
I'm sure there's gonna be some growing pains the first couple of weeks.
No, I'm
like,
sure.
just going to a new provider, splitting it up into 2 days, new cans. But we will try to make it as easy as we can.
Sure.
And, you know, have our team as available to help residents and work with Kevin's team to make it as smooth a transition as we can.
One
Appreciate
big
that.
benefit on transition that helps is you guys do have the carts, and typically when people see a new cart show up, they realize something's going on. So
Right.
there's always questions with that. And we'll have a flyer attached to it detailing what's going on as well, which will help. But the carts, the Christmas gift that shows up is usually a big we see the phone pickup, the volume pickup on our chats and phone calls. When the cart
We'll have to
shows
be
up,
sure we
so-
get Texas Pride out at the Christmas event and have you guys out there.
Yeah,
talk
have
to our-
come out here and
Talk
do
to our
it.
residents who come out to that event just to have some
Yeah,
public exposure to it.
yep, happy to do that.
When we do have city events, can we have the cardboard
Cardboard.
trash can
Mhm.
things that have your logo? Okay.
Yep.
I think that would be great, just
Or
advertisement.
I can.
They're
vouch
very
for the
good at
fact
that.
They're fantastic about providing
I was gonna say, I feel like I've been to other events in other areas of town where I've seen them before.
Mhm.
We just did the Harvest Festival last weekend for Katy. We had,
That's what it was.
I think we donated 100 event boxes and 2 roll-off boxes for it, so.
I don't know if we're there yet, but we'll take a few. We'll get there.
We beat this horse?
I think so.
It's
I think
neighing in the
on
ground.
our end, it's just going to be a well-thought-out rollout, so to speak, to educate residents, so it's not a surprise. And so I know y'all do a good job with that, so look forward to working with you.
Well, and another new city website's looking for content, so
It is.
this will be good for several pieces of content, I'm sure.
Move to accept the proposal from, oh my gosh, Texas Pride. So sorry, I don't want to misspeak the name. For trash services for the city of Brookshire.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you guys.
Absolutely, thank you.
Sir,
All right,
coming
thank
out.
you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
y'all. I'll see y'all soon.
And I'll get with you on the.
Yep, absolutely. Congratulations as well.
Thanks.
Excuse me.
Okay.
So, item F, discussion and consider the approval of the final plat of the Ferguson project at Empire West.
So, Mayor and Council, there's two parts to this one, and so there's an original final plat, and then a subsequent part of that, there's a development plan, and the one final plat, so there's two parts. We got a recommendation for both, there's approved with condition,
So one of my concerns, just for Ms. Ward and Ms. Molina's edification, we've approved some of these before with conditions. One of the conditions here is the approval from Brookshire Katy Drainage District, and staff has just moved ahead with issuing. So,
Right. So we already have talked to the applicants and the developer, and we've told them that no permits will be issued until we have that confirmation. And they're gonna have to bring back the milers and all that stuff to us anyway, so, but that's part of the package they have to bring back to us.
okay. And then are we having the drainage district electronically convey to the city their approval, or are we relying on the person to bring it in?
You know, I have not gotten to meet with the drainage district yet. That's on my list of things to do. So as of right now, the developer's bringing something to us from them signed.
It
It's
might be
not-
good, and I mean, I know these,
I mean, we can definitely, I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
they
mean-
wouldn't mind sending a,
we've dealt with these people before with Ferguson, so I don't expect anything, but just again, for y'all's edification.
yeah.
We've had issues in the past with letters being presented that weren't truly an approval of the drainage district, so we may want to look at a process to make
Okay.
sure that we're not
Yeah, I'll touch base with
shooting
them.
ourselves in the foot.
Me and Jennifer need to go meet with them anyway.
Like some of the paperwork we've gotten in the past was just simply an email correspondence talking about the project, but not necessarily an
Not like an
approval.
approval.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work
Well,
on
and I
that.
will say, there was a learning curve here that Eric and I did have to address with some staff because an initial permit was issued before the plat was even on the agenda,
Right.
considered by council, and that should never happen. A plat should be completed, everything signed before a permit is even issued. Just for that exact reason, to make sure that everything is shored up.
There's no bug
Right.
companies in residential.
I know at one point in time, council had approved doing an interagency agreement with Katy Drainage District to try to alleviate some of these issues with the multiple back and forth. I don't know if that's ever
But they
been
never got back
followed through with us.
So,
They engineer and our engineer, I mean, we
Correct.
don't even have
I mean,
engineers.
she is correct. There were some issues regarding the floodplain administrator, because at the time, the city did not have a floodplain administrator.
Bye.
And I think we were defaulting, thank you, we were defaulting on utilizing a floodplain administrator
Be
with the,
careful
with the
going out.
drainage district. The representative from the drainage district has since come to us and said, we're not gonna be your floodplain administrator, which is not a big deal to us because we've gone out for RFQ for engineering services, and we specifically wrote that into engineering services, is that we need our specific city engineer to have a person who is a certified floodplain administrator.
Okay.
And I will say that will be a determining factor between several of the people who have
Right.
Turned in.
turned in, is because they are third partying out, which when you third party out, that's an extra expense that you're adding on. It's finding a firm that has somebody in-house that's a floodplain administrator, so our city engineer can solely take care of that, and that will, to, Ms. Taylor's, point, will help alleviate some of that misconfusion that's happened.
So just for clarity, the resolution 2023-1019-1 has no conditions on it, or recommended conditions, but the 2023-1019-2 does.
Correct.
That's my
Okay.
understanding, yeah.
So we're gonna need two motions for each, one for each?
I think it's okay, we
Just do a, okay, okay.
And Justin, it's your recommendation as approved that these are fine at this point?
Yeah, just for clarity though, the ones that I have, they are conditions on both. So the site development plan resolution, two conditions, one is that the parking or either meet all the required parking or seek a variance, and that's gonna be a future thing. And then it says address and resolve all outstanding comments in the section. So this is also something we do, but essentially I know it's a plan to just adopt these plans. The final plat too is pretty simple, it's a copy to the drainage district and then provide the standard lien holder agreement that the city does.
Where are those conditions found on 2023-1019-1, Justin? Mr. Pruitt, excuse me.
Mine were, I don't remember this, I don't, development plan resolution, it's on P, if I'm looking at page 6. In the bottom, it says Empire West Phase 3 version Park 5.
It's on -2, Mr. Hill.
There's a map or a picture of existing conditions, it's essentially prepared that previous page.
Okay, I'm not seeing it here, but let me go to the PDF.
It says recommended in the proposed motion, and that's the
I see that now.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Ready for motion?
And that might be just for clarity, just approve, I would just approve each resolution separate, just to, so in case there's some.
For clarity.
Final plat resolution and then the development plan resolution.
So both are subject to conditions at this point?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I move that we approve Resolution 2023-1019-1, subject to conditions.
Second. Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll do both of them.
Yes, sir.
I move that we approve Resolution 2023-1019-2 upon meeting the conditions outlined.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's move on to item G, discussion and consider the purchase of an subscription as it is mass notification service for community outreach and emergency management.
So this is the emergency notification system we've been talking about. It has grown and kind of improved since we used it at our previous city. It has a lot more, access to separate out like incident command. Like, so during an emergency, we can do incident command texts that include the police department, the emergency management coordinator, anybody, like local agencies. It's unlimited there's no charges for data and all that. It's unlimited email notifications. You can do community notifications, you know, it gives you different levels that you can do. I will say, Jennifer and I have always kind of adhered to not overutilizing it and really using it for emergencies.
Right.
And something that's
Or critical.
critical information. So this actually has geocoding, so like,
Daily
if
text.
something's going on, you know, Auto Street or whatever in a block radius, you can send notifications to just those people. And right now, they have the capabilities to reach 80% of our residents, just straight off the bat with like like a true emergency, like if something was coming. And that's because of all the things you opt into as residents, like that, you know, they have access to, that you give your information to. But so out of 2008 households, we could reach, you know, 80% of that right now. So, I mean, that's a good start. I mean, we definitely have to do a campaign for people to sign on to it, to sign up for the notifications and let us know how they want to be notified. But those text messages go out through, has connection with the iPause, which is like the, is that state or?
No, it's federal. So 2 weeks ago, when
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
got the ping from FEMA,
Yeah.
that's IPAWS.
Yeah.
So if there is a national emergency or even a state declared emergency, it will kick in as a default to IPAWS, and it will ping your phone with emergency broadcast based on the geocache of this area. I will say that currently the population of our city is registering at a little over 70% Hispanic population, with the large majority of that being Spanish speaking. Everbridge has the capability of translating into 14 different languages. So when you go in and you register, you can register for whatever your preferred language is, and that can be through a text message, an email, or a phone call. So it does cater to those populations that maybe aren't using text messages, don't have smartphones. They're still getting the phone calls in their desired language and can get the information that we push out. So with something like Everbridge, what we would be able to do, let's take Texas Pride. We can send a message out. We're not going to send something every week because, again, I don't believe in overutilizing the system because people become numb to it. And then when it truly is an emergency, they don't. I mean, we all get those text messages where
Or they opt out of it because they get annoyed with
Right.
the irrelevant ones.
But in the event of like Texas Pride, we can say, you know, January 1st, Texas Pride is our new solid waste hauler. You know,
Please only
be
utilize those
expecting
trash cans or
cans
something.
to be delivered to your home, should you have questions, whatever. Another really great feature is that Ms. Molina can set the Everbridge system up to every time a notification goes out, it also mirrors on our social media and that is on our website. But then the way that it's archived is also within code of what we need that to be archived like. But if somebody isn't on their phone, but they're on a computer, they can still get those messages. And they, you know, we're trying to cover as many bases as we can. And I think really for our population, the translated languages and the
Mhm.
option of anything right outside of text, voice and email is exactly, you know, what we need.
And it has really good reporting capabilities, and it also lets you look and see like who's opted out. Like, so previously with Nixle, which was their program they used, you couldn't see like who opted out, and then people would say, well, I'm not getting the notices anymore, and I'd be
You
like,
had no
did you
clue
opt
why.
out? And they,
Yeah.
you know, people don't remember if they,
Yeah.
anyway, you can look in, like, I'll be able to see on the dashboard, like, oh, you opted out, can I get you signed back up, you know what, and there'll be a button on our website for people to, it'll be on our homepage for them to sign up through that.
And it's very simple. It's just a matter of it being a number 88999 and you text Brookshire. And then that opts you into, I mean, that's a hypothetical number, don't text that number. But that's what it looks like. So it's not this long process to get registered.
Is there a process, I know, cause you mentioned by text or potentially also by email, or is it primarily by text?
So when you go in and set it up, you pick your preferences. You can say, I want text and
Okay.
email. You can say, I want text, email, voice, phone call, regular phone call. That's up to you. But like for emergencies, like I can say, like when I go in, like if it was something like a hurricane coming or there was evacuation or something like that, I can go in and click all of those so that
it was a true emergency, because you
so-
can designate the level of threat, if you will, whenever you send a communication
Right,
out.
there's like, yeah, levels of,
I'm just thinking of maybe like some of our senior citizens who don't know how to text the code or some sort of
right,
We can register, I will say this, when it comes to senior citizens, and I'm not,
I was gonna say, we could do a campaign of.
right, there's an aspect to it to where, I don't wanna speak out of context because I don't know how Waller County has their 411 system set up. But we can go into Everbridge and we can set up our own internal 411 system. So, in a designated emergency, we have a 411 cache set up of the nursing home.
Okay.
Any people that fall into kind of that restricted category of senior citizen, maybe it's somebody who's on oxygen, they're immobile, they have 24-hour healthcare, we can designate them into a 411 cache. We have that record so that, you know, in some cases, like for evacuations, they're gonna be notified first before we are, and then we can follow up with those people that are cataloged in that 411. And so that's very helpful from an emergency management standpoint, to know that we can separate that out from just a geocached area.
When I was even thinking about potentially partnering with our library for whatever campaign that we have, and maybe that there could, I don't know, some sort of way to assist people to be able to utilize the computers and the internet there, for them to be able to sign up if they
Sure.
don't have a computer or internet in their house or something,
Definitely
Yeah.
do that.
when we roll it out, but,
Yeah.
And they can call
Just
up the
thinking
city
of that.
hall and we can we can enroll them.
oh, they can help, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Sure. I move that we approve the annual subscription with Everbridge Mass Notification Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Item H, discuss and consider action regarding tax collection agreement with the Brookshire Municipal.
There's really no discussion on this. We had already voted to move our collection services to assessments of the Southwest. And the water district is going to move theirs as well, so our services are separated, so
It's just an FYI.
well, no, we put this on the agenda prior to their meeting this week, so it was already on the agenda, so we just.
Can't remove it.
Yeah.
And just that what happened, I mean, they took action, the board took action to separate any kind of tax collection associated with the city, and we got a notice from them. From their attorney that says that the same thing.
So when we gonna put them back on the
So
city?
no action.
So no additional action required by
No.
council.
What? No, I think so.
Mm-mm.
Cause remember we're supposed to go back,
Reports,
but when are we gonna
reports
bring
from
them back on
council.
the city?
Mm,
Remember? They leaving out,
none?
I have a question. I don't know if it's a report. There was some brief discussion a month ago about having some sort of a Halloween-esque activity for the city. I saw that the PD is now doing something at the amphitheater. Is that what we're considering the city activity?
We're doing it in conjunction with them and
so
the
I do have a
EPC.
question. Is it gonna be the same night as the hangar, or are we doing this stuff separate again?
No, there's 4 different events going on, and we're working with all 4
Thank
different
you.
events, and we're
Yes.
cross-posting, and in fact, we posted today on
So that
social
people can
media.
go from one to another.
That'll
We
be the
posted
separate
a
stuff.
map that shows all 4 locations, and all 4 of the locations, we've all cross-posted. And I will say that last week, we had, to your point, we had talked about PD doing a trunk or treat at the amphitheater. After we had posted ours, it was the day after National Night Out. The hangar had posted theirs. We immediately got on the phone with the
Mhm.
hangar.
Cause they been doing it. That's
Right.
fair.
Well, and I mean, you know, honestly, it's Halloween, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna play in their their stuff on hand, but we immediately got on the phone with the hangar.
But I was just saying, usually they was connected. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like we would
So
go
they-
to Patterson and
They
then we go to this
originally,
church.
I think wanted to have it at the amphitheater, but with this construction has kind of thrown a ringer and everything. And
Yeah.
so, to be honest, we, in working with PD, we finally said after National Night, we're gonna go with it and make it work.
Well, we invited the hanger to come, but they were something with their volunteers that they had to
specific
have.
volunteers that have to get
Yep.
their hours.
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
They have to be on
So-
location.
On location, yeah.
Yes.
So anyways, we had a great conversation with Ryan, and going forward, we are gonna merge them together here at the amphitheater. But we had already coordinated with them to have officers to help direct traffic and people crossing over 90 back and forth. We will have PD vehicles at the hangar. They're going to send their people over here, cause we're gonna be doing a movie if somebody wants to take.
How does
a
the
break.
timing work out between those two
They're,
events?
they're staggered times.
They're all staggered times, so Taylor's Playhouse is involved, and then the library's
Library's
involved.
involved
So we
as
have 4 locations, and we
Not
put
the
a map
church, the church.
online.
I guess the church isn't doing it this year. I haven't seen anything.
It's been a couple years since they did the, like, map through Brookshire and
Yeah,
Pattison.
What
and-
about this officer? What about
Yeah,
Patterson?
No, they haven't announced anything.
they haven't asked anything either.
I know they usually all work together, so you got to go. It's like a scavenger hunt. You go.
No,
over there.
yeah, it's been,
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 years ago, they did a scavenger
some
hunt
friends
because
that did the
the
scavenger
Bookhorn
hunt,
bus was
yeah.
involved and
Yeah,
several others,
they-
but I think the bus has been out of commission for a
Yeah,
little while.
they out of commission.
Yeah, so, I mean. we've
But they're all
already
at
gotten-
staggered times, and some of them are for like 2 hours, some last for 3, some last for 4. But I think ours is kind
And
of
they
the-
overlap?
on the
The
end,
end.
and they overlap a little bit, so people
Uh-huh.
can go from one to
Right,
another,
Okay.
and then it kind of ends here for the movie.
Yeah, we have a big blow up screen, do the movie, and we're kind of, fortunately, we're kind of the hub in between all the different locations, so they can either start at one end and end here, or we can be kind of pass through, like sit down, take a break, whatever. But yeah, we've already gotten lots of feedback from posting the map online today, and people have reached out, and I think people are excited. I guess to y'all's point, they've done it like this in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of taken a couple years off, and excited to see it coming back where we're all. across the
Well,
board.
having been involved formerly with the planning events program that we used to have, I don't know if we're ever going to get back to that again, but
You got it.
it would be, some stuff like this it would be exciting to get that committee involved with, get all of those interested parties together.
Model Street.
Um,
We
What's
don't
that?
got a committee.
What's that?
We don't have a committee.
I know we don't. I said,
Oh,
we get it back together again at some point and coordinate those types of events. Would be awesome to, if there was a few, I'm thinking that would be awesome if we had some sort of a small amount of cash. We could have given out everybody a Brookshire Halloween 2023 flashlight glow stick. You know,
It's not too
Whatever.
late.
right? I'm just thinking something that would have been cool, and it would have really shown some kind of, hey, we are coordinating, we are working together. All of these entities do talk to each other, and just alleviate some of the.
The police department did pass out the little flashlights too at the National Night Out, and I know my kids held on to those because they were gonna use those. It's kind of that size, and
Yeah.
it's about that bright.
We got
Very bright.
I just think there's a lot of.
Where'd he with you?
People took them all.
It was mostly the children, cause my son got 3, and I took 2 of them. Most of the kids.
I still have glow
had
sticks in my
Yeah.
truck seat.
Yeah, I just know there's been a lot of.
That was that box.
Well,
that
Brett,
we-
you sitting over there in the corner. Did you mingle any? Cause they was over there at the table. They was over there at the table with the.
They were by
glow
Mr.
lights.
Kelly's,
Yeah.
Oh,
table.
I mingled the whole place.
Yeah, she put those ones out, and they were.
I didn't pay no attention.
I know my son got 3 of them, and I sold 2 of them.
They're really bright. I
He
told them, I was
didn't
like, hold
need
on to
all
those, we'll use those for trick or treating.
Yeah.
And they're really bright.
My whole point of that is just that we have this ongoing issue of naysayers that just want to rabble rouse and say we don't work together, we don't da-da-da-da-da. I'd love to start doing some things that say that show to the community, not just internally. We this reminds me of the Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts would say, "How come nobody ever joins Boy Scouts?" Well, it's because you always meet in the church basement and nobody's ever seeing you what you do. You got to get out in public and do stuff. It's the same thing. We've got to get out we've got to get out of the public and start letting people know that we are doing this in a real coordinated effort. That the city is aware of what's happening. We are working with these other entities. We are making it into a big thing together and get in front of that.
And we are going to, from starting probably next week through Thanksgiving, we're gonna do kind of a social media push. to get people to follow the page, so it's, you know, tag the City of Brookshire page, add friends, and, we'll be tracking that through a tracking system, then we'll do like a giveaway. We have a couple people who have sponsored to do like HEB gift cards or giveaways. We'll just do like a random selector, like Tony McNally added 5 people, he gets 5 entries, and then put it in a generator. Because we really do, we've been posting some really great content on our social media page, but it's, you know, it's in the infancy, so getting people to know that this is, a good
Overcoming that Facebook
location-
algorithm.
Or, yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
location for centralized information, and we don't just post about city stuff. I mean, one thing that we have been good about is posting about other organizations, other businesses in the city. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to be advocates for the city, and so that our page does that. So getting more people to follow it and to engage with it, I think the more we grow with that public perception.
Absolutely agree, absolutely agree. And I apologize for co-opting the reports. That wasn't really a report, it was more of a question, but, so.
They still get 'em.
I do have a report.
The only thing I'd like to add this week is homecoming for Royal.
Oh, yeah.
So game is on Friday. The tailgating and all that stuff will happen before.
And then tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Friday, yes it is.
Already.
Already.
But
Yeah.
it's
Tomorrow's homecoming for all.
Yeah.
That's what he
You
just
just
said.
What I was saying.
That's what I was gonna announce too. That's a robbery for us, so.
I'll go ahead and announce that Katie and Royal 4-H is going to be doing a Christmas drop and shop.
A what?
It's a drop and shop. You drop your kids off, and we're gonna like sugar them up and wear them out all at the same time.
Oh, no. I ain't-
No, but hold on. There's a caveat for it. So you'll get to drop your kids off with us from 4 to 8 p.m. and go finish your Christmas shopping in peace.
I got that, but the sugar.
I'm just messing with you.
okay.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
We're gonna have face painting, snowball fight with the Grinch. We'll probably play a Christmas movie, a Christmas ornament craft, and all of the volunteers are approved volunteers through the Texas 4-H. So they have to go through volunteer training and have background check done. And so you can sign up through the Katie and Royal 4-H Facebook page. There is a Google form link on there to sign up, but it's going to be right here at the convention center. We'll lock them in.
That needs to be on the city webpage.
I won't sugar them up, but I promise I'll wear them out. We'll make them run laps or something. I don't know.
I love it.
They'll go right to sleep for you after you finish it.
Good
I
luck.
mean, they let us run, they didn't give us no food.
No, we'll have pizza.
So I have a 23-year-old that I need to get out of the house. And is that
You can sign up as a volunteer. You can volunteer to be the Grinch and have snowballs thrown at
There we
him.
go.
I have
Okay.
the costume.
We do have the official city lighting and then the breakfast with Santa the first Friday and Saturday of the month. We will be, of December, we will
In
be doing that.
December.
We're still
Yes.
working on the details, but we will get that to y'all.
Santa what? Breakfast?
Breakfast with Santa
Yeah,
and the
breakfast
official
with
city
Santa.
lighting.
So are we still doing the Troy thing?
Yes, we're looking at potentially doing it, the breakfast with Santa in the morning and then the toy drive.
On the first Saturday?
Yes. But we're, like I said, we're still working on some of those logistics, so don't 100% put that in stone yet.
I just need to know ahead of time so I can go ahead, because I usually actually let my child go on the ride so he can understand giving is better than receiving. So that's what we do together for that, when they do the police
Mhm.
thing. So
And I know
just
some of
need
the
to know
requests
dates.
from citizens in the past too is if we
Right.
could publish a map of where it's
Be
going to be
going.
going.
Right.
Because in the past they've kind of said here's where it'll be, but then it changed or I don't know.
They started, but then it was like, I don't know, some people had to leave or something to that nature, so they had to cut off and start over. Like, it's just business.
Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 10, executive session. The city council will meet in closed session pursuant to Title 5, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, for the purpose of consulting with the legal counsel, deliberation of personnel regarding the appointment, appeal, employments,
It's okay.
evaluation reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal. The police chief, city secretary, city administrator, city court director, and public works director. It is too late.
What do we got?
8:47.
8:47.
Yeah, he a new resident guy. He
Yeah.
want,
He's wanting to start like a newspaper.
yeah.
Okay, it is 9:32. Therefore, we have no discussion for the executive session. The last item is item 12, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
All right.
All in favor?
Who seconded it?